hear a lot of chatter and all of that, so that's always a good sign. That's always saying the people that work with me have heard me say that before. So a lot of the chatter going on, that means that we are happy to be where we are and we're happy to be around each other. And I wants to say, want to welcome you all for being here. Thank you all so much. We're going to follow the program. At this time, I'd like to call on Pastor Jonathan Ellison of Chapel Valley Church to deal with the invitation. If we can stand and remain standing, Council of Order is going to lead us to the table.
So one of the things I like to do is take a verse of Scripture and use it as a prayer and pray through Scripture. And so there's a verse that I want to use for tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me this privilege. Psalm 33:12. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people whom He has chosen as His own inheritance. That would be my basis for prayer tonight as we pray. Let's pray. Now, God Almighty, immortal, invincible, magnificent. Lord, there is no galaxy that extends beyond your reach. Galaxies we've not even discovered yet, Lord, it still is within your scope. Lord, there is no power, no storms, no space or constellations, Lord, that don't fall within your reach. And so tonight, Lord, looking at that, we ask that we would be held under the shelter of that as a city. Lord, your word says, blessed is the nation. We're blessed. We gain blessings from you. That is, in my mind, so much of what Phenix City is. We have received such good from you. Lord, blessed, your word said, blessed is the nation. Lord, Phenix City is not a nation, but it certainly is a microcosm of this nation, with civic and governmental leaders and business leaders and church leaders and many other types of things. Lord, I thank you for that. Lord, for our mayor, for our city manager, for our assistant manager, for our city council. Lord, for all those who make up City Hall and work in there, our police chief and all the police force, our fire chief and all the fire department, and all the other areas from maintenance to sanitation to recreation, Lord, to the school system. Lord, we give you thanks. And Lord, I'm sure I've missed some entities, I've missed some areas, which is just a statement of how blessed we are to have so much in this place, and we thank you. Lord, your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Lord, you gave us that name in the Old Testament, your personal name. You've given us your personal name, so we don't have to wonder who you are or where you are or what you are. Lord, you are Lord Yahweh. But Lord, as a personal name, Lord, that you are, Lord, our King. And in 2025, Lord, I pray that Phenix City would both represent that as personal and relationship to you, but also as the power that you are King. Lord, your word says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people whom He has chosen for His own inheritance. Lord, an inheritance is something we receive as a result of our relationship to another. Father, you are the owner of that inheritance. You own cattle on 1,000 hills, and so in 2025, I pray that as a city we might acknowledge you in a personal way, but also rest under the power of your oversight, that we might be the beneficiaries of that inheritance, even as we have, but that it would continue and even more. And Lord, we pray this in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Ellison and Councilman Boyd. Thank you so much. And again, we welcome everyone here. We are grateful and thankful that you all have chosen to come out. We are excited about this because it gives us, all of us, a chance to show how well and how great the city has done. And it has been successful because, first of all, this is a praying council. Second of all, we have great people in our city manager, putting the team on, and we're going to talk about that a little later on, but we certainly welcome all of you all for being here. Again, it gives us an opportunity to show how great we've done collectively as a city. So the plans are to, hopefully by 7 o'clock, we believe, however, we want to do the presentation in 30 minutes. I'm not going to insult you all because all of us can read, but I do want to try to finish that in 30 minutes and then leave 30 minutes for questions. And we do want to have people that ask us questions. Again, that gives us an opportunity to show how transparent and wholesome we are. Although sometimes people try to use that against us, but we are very wholesome and transparent. So if you have any questions we would like you to ask them, or what we would like you to do is to come to the mic, say your name and what district that you are in, because it will give a council member an opportunity to also answer the question based on the district that you live in. So that is the reason why we would ask that you would do that. Also, if you are out there live and looking, streaming, or whatever, you can go to city clerk at phenixcityaL.gov and put your questions in also. Am I correct with that?
Yes, sir.
Clerk? Yes. Again, that's city clerk at phenixcityaL.us. So we're going to go ahead and get into the presentation. Again, we don't want to keep you all night. However, you're welcome to stay as long as you want to. But I will get out there and say, these lights will go off. So that may be a sign for you. You have to leave here no matter where you go. But we do want to give people time to ask questions. So again, thank you all for being here. So we're going to go ahead and get in the presentation. And I apologize for having to turn it back to you all. But we don't know any other way to do that. Okay? The highlight for me is to be able to introduce our city council members as well as our city manager and our city clerk. As you see, Rick Boyd, who is Mayor Pro Tem, who did prayers. Councilman Bailey is not able to be here tonight, but he called and said he's listening, but he's not feeling as well as he probably needs to. Next, we have Councilwoman Carter, who's District 2 councilperson. And we also have Council Member Dave, who is in District 3. We have our city clerk, Shannon Davis, who's been here 9 years. We have our city manager, which I'll come back and we'll see him again on this slide. He's been here 39 years. So it's a pleasure and an honor for me to be able to introduce them to what they do and how they keep me accountable. Next, we have Assistant City Manager, Chan Gamble, who's been with us 1 year. Stand up. We want you to remain standing, everyone, so we want to applaud them, and I'll tell you the reason why. Next, we have Sean McCullough, who's our Economic Development. He's been here 13 years, and if I get some of these wrong, you all tell me. We have Angel Moore, an engineer in Public Works, who's been here 19 years. And we have Labrita King, who's our Finance Director, and she's been with us 15 years. We have our Chief of Police, Chris Kennedy, has been here 35 years. Fire Department, I'm sorry, been here 35 years. We have our Human Resource Director, Stephanie Chastain, who's been here 24 years. Is she? Oh, yeah. Okay. And we have our IT person, Mike Bowers, who's been here for 17 years. And we have Tammy Henry, who's our library director, who's been here 2 years. And we also have Ruby White, who is our municipal court, who's been here 32 years. We have Todd Hughes, who I just found out his real name is Ronald, so I'll get that for some time. He's been here 27 years. We have Ray Rogers, who's that building department person who has been here for 27 years. And of course, Wallace B. Hunter, who's our, you don't have to say it since you're up high, Mr. Hunter. Wallace Hunter, who's also our public safety director, has been here 39 years. We have Chief Stollinger, our police department chief, who's been here 32 years. We have John Spraggins, who's over our utilities, that's been here 14 years. And we do have Mike Barber. I don't know whether Mike is here, but he's been here 5 years. And the reason why I wanted them to stand is that collectively, they have been here over 310 years. Collectively. That's a great amount of experience. And the experience that they have correlates with how great the city has done in the last 10 years. And we're going to be able to hopefully show that and convince some people, although we know that's going to be impossible to convince everyone, but because of their years of experience, they have been successful. And thanks to our city manager for putting this team together with over 310 years of experience that has made this city great. Mike and Chris, please stand. Mike, I don't know how long you've been here.
April will be 17 years.
17 years, and Chris? 7 years. So even with that, we see it's way over that amount. But their experience has caused, under the guidance and leadership of the city manager, for putting this team together. Because of that, we have been able to have great.
Don't forget about Jennifer Lowe.
Oh, Jim, you better stand up. How long have you been here?
15 years.
15 years. So we got a wealth of experience that has caused this city to have and create some great things. So if you all don't mind, let's give them a hand. That's why I want to. We live your life. Thank you all for coming. Please see it all. We have our judges and our attorneys here. We have the Honorable Judge Walton. Stand, please. We have this Pat here. Okay, we have our attorney Jimmy Graham and our attorney Jim Coon. Let's give them a hand. Hopefully we can show in these slides how great we have done. Jim, you sit down. Or you might want to stand up. Sometimes he has to stand up. Hopefully we will be able to show and convince you and the other how well and how great the city has done within the last 10 years. We have a mission statement. We're not going to go over that. Like I said, we don't want to insult you to read that. But we do have a mission statement. But one of the key things in there, we talk about trust and transparency for the government. And as I said, I know sometimes people try to use that against us, but I can tell you, this council, we have done everything transparent. And we have never, ever tried to tell someone before we meet how to vote. We do not do that because it's unethical. And I want to challenge you all that when we're gone, you don't go and put people in place that's going to have the best interests of the city, that has integrity and character and moral. You do not need to vote. Okay? We are passionate about it. Am I right, Councilman?
That's right.
We have our core values, and that we talk about the values, and the value that we create is that of those attributes that I just spoke of. See it on. Okay, I am not going to, and I know that's kind of small to read, but I'm not going to go through each line item, but what I do want you to look at, as you can see, we started the grant program, city manager put a grant team together in 2008, so 16 years ago. And you look at this at the bottom in the yellow. Between those years, non-city funds were $16 million. City funds were $2.5 million. That's the amount we had to match to be able to get those grants for that total amount. But what I'm going to do is fast forward to the last page of this, because I know that the last page is where the rubber meets the road. Right here in the green. Everyone can see that grand total. The non-city funds, $51 million that we were able to receive. From 2008 until 2024, that grew 243% of how much we grew in getting grants. Think about that, 243%, where we grew from the 18 million to the 51 million that we were able to get grants. But the kicker is that the city funds portion, when you see the 12.5 million in the green, that's the amount of money we have to be able to match the grants to receive a total of $51 million. If we did not have the money to match those grants, we would not have been able to get that amount of money, and we would have lost out on a lot of opportunities of the greatness that we've been able to do with the city. And even when you look at that, it was 2.4 million in 2008. It has grown to 12.5 million. That's 460% increase. That's astounding. So that's a great job what we've done, and we're going to get into some other things to show you what we've done with that grant money. Here we all know since COVID, all companies and businesses, I think I can safely say that the workforce attitude has changed. It's no different than for the city. When we look at this, and I said this last year to you all, and I'll get to it, our workforce has decreased. If you look at the total number of positions that we have budgeted here on the 411, can you all see that? I hope you all get to the 411 where you see the budget position for 2025. Administration all the way down to utilities. That total equals, we have budgeted for 501 workers. The far right, where you see 2024, that adds up that we only have 415 employees. Last year I reported that we were like 30% short of workers. It has improved some, but we're still 27% less workers than what we need to have, what we budgeted for. And when you look at the administration side, the very first one, we're down 31%. Regulation and amenities, that portion we're down 36%. Public safety, which has stayed pretty steady. There, public safety, we're down 19%. Chief Starlin, how many employees, and I know I should have asked you, how many we're down now? 30 police officers. But we have stayed flat. And so that's the one that has been studied as far as the police. But even with that number compared on the amount that we have budgeted for, we're still down 19%. Engineering and public works, it's still kind of flat. They've had some movement in that, but we're still down 25% of the budget and the amount of works that we need. 25%. Then you look at utilities, we're down 31%. That's still pretty flat. But the total budgeted amount that we put in the budget for employees is 571. We only have 415, which is a difference of 156. So, good paying jobs, great benefits. So if you know anybody who's looking, we would love to have it. However, one of the problems we've had, and I'm looking at our HR director, when we get people in, can't hardly get them past the drug test. And we can ill afford to hire people that's going to put this city, your taxpayer money, in a liability situation. We're just not going to do that. So when you see these workers out working, please, if you can give them compliments, because a lot of times they're putting double duties. Because we still almost 30% down on our workforce. City infrastructure projects. These are the local streets. From 2009 to 2024, with which is 15 years, the total cost that we've done in research and local street has been $15.8 million, $16 million. That's the cost of about $222,000 a mile. $15 million. Guess what? It's all been paid. Next, city infrastructure projects. These are proposed resurfacing. As you see by the district, we want to make it as equal as possible throughout the district. As you see, District 1, 2.4 miles, 2, 2.9 miles, and District 3, 2.4 miles. The reason why we do that is because there's a lot of people who's anti-government for Phenix City always try to say we do more on one end than we do on the other. This council is very conscious of that. The city manager is really conscious of it. So that's why we try to make sure whatever we do in every district is as balanced as possible. And let me say this, probably shouldn't. We do have a district that has a majority of ethnicity. But no majority ethnicity owns that district. No. And we don't take it lightly, but we try to spread things out. However, we're going to do what's best for the city. Even though it may get tilted some, but we're doing what's best for the city and the citizens of this community. City infrastructure, I'm not going to read all that. One of the biggest one up there is City Road Bridge project that we were able to open. Was that last March? April, March, we did that. And of course, we'll talk more about that. You see, that was 2.3 million, some of that, most of that was the grant. However, when you look at all of the projections of infrastructure we plan to do, or has been completed, excuse me, that comes up to be $5.4 million. When you look at that right column and all of those things, the total amount that has been completed equates to $5.4 million. So we're too big to be small as a city. Proceeding on, these are other infrastructure things that we are planning on doing that's ongoing. The first one is $716,000, which is in District 1. The other one is $705,000, and you can see those miles of roads that we will be resurfacing things. That's $705,000. In District 3 is $627,000, which is a total amount of $2 million that we'll be spending. Okay? Proceeding on, other infrastructure projects. These are some that are for the engineering and public works. You can see those. 14th Street streetscape that we're doing, but the biggest one is the Cedar Road resurfacing project, which is costing $1.6 million. These are things ongoing. And the other one, 14th Street, has two of them. The other one is $1.1 million. But these are projects that are ongoing and the time to cut down. City utilities. These are some that have been completed. There's also some that's in the process now. This is critically important. Mission critically important. We have to make sure, because of health and safety, and because of ADMs and other agencies, rightfully so, we have to make sure our water supplies are top notch. We don't want to become like any other cities that we know. I'm not going to call those cities. I think probably most of us know where they were. That you don't invest in that, we're leaving the next generation what it costs is going to be quadruple of what it costs now. So we have the responsibility, and we have to be willing to be beat up to do what's right for the next generation. When you start talking about utility projects, you see the very first one, the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, it's completed. $12 million we spent. How important. This is mission critical to this community for the safety and welfare of water. And let me tell you something, this is a tough thing we have to deal with. And how do I want to say this? We have to operate this. We have to make sure that we're doing and making sure that the cost is going to be beneficial for the results. This is always something that moves, because there are so many regulations that people don't understand that we have to comply with. There's several other things we have to do to make sure, and we get attacked a lot. But at the end of the day, we got to make sure we're doing what's right for everyone. City utility project, wastewater treatment upgrade. That's the first one we had. $12.4 million that we spent for that. The next one is the wastewater treatment. And all this stuff is over my head. There's some questions at the end that you all asked me as the utility director and other people. And, wastewater treatment screw pump replacement. Complete, $439,000. Clarify. Upgrades and improvements. That's the thing that's spending $2.3 million. That has been completed. Here, the Border Control Center, this is one we just had to deal with. Correct me if I'm wrong, John, that we had to make sure we get the part in and make the whole system work. Am I correct? Yeah. And this went down, so we had to do some emergency improvements and things to get that working, because if we don't have that, nothing works. Great thing, commercial development. This is down in 431. You all know we have the Wendy's, we have Circle K, Raceway, we have Taco Bell, and we have Jackson on the other side, and we have other things in the pipeline that will be coming, hopefully, but we can't disclose because of confidentiality. John, anything I need to add to that? Other commercial development. This is out on 280 North. We know everybody's asking about the Starbucks and the process, and that will be opening in is that April? April, Outback, March, correct? And Chipotle is open now. Inline retail, that's Jersey Mike, that's AT&T. That's the building that they are completing in Jersey Mike's supposed to be there in April also. Am I right? Okay. So other opportunities that's in the pipeline that we can't disclose.
There's the end of the urban care.
Yeah, that's right. Peace Street Urban Care urgency is in there too, in the retail. Thank you, Councilman Board. It's also in there, and they are coming in. It is open now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilman Board. As you all may or may not know, at the Phenix Corner where the old Kmart used to be, some stores there now, we do have Slim Chicken, and they are in the process of getting that done. So that's another commercial development that's going to come. Infrastructure development, John Manville invested $28 million of capital in the company that's here to maintain the function as they do, but also help create some jobs. Allocated $2 million in capital investment, and they're adding 24 jobs. Last year we talked about the Sierra Pacific, and I do want to segue this, is that Sierra Pacific, in the month of March, I guess I'm okay to say this, they're bringing that whole sales group, over 200 people here, to kick off their entire sales group, over 200 people, right in Phenix City. That's a company that invested over $60 million and will get up to 500, maybe 600 jobs, correct? And they are in the process of hiring $27 an hour. Yeah, average $27 an hour. So good company, and they chose Phenix City. Company been around for years. $60 million they invested. So you need to go down on the Brickyard Road and go to the old Southern Phoenix and just take a look at it. They invested $60 million.
And District 3.
District 3. All right, District 3. Planning for the comprehensive planning, as you see the two checks, comprehensive planning is on and on, we've done those. However, once we continue to do, we will revise the subdivision ordinance, and we will be adjusting some other ordinance that matches downtown, because you got to change. So when you see right here, the comprehensive plan has been completed, and the zoning ordinance, which we updated to comply with what we need in the future to be able to have the opportunity to grow and to attract businesses. Future development, the highway district, right over there. We have some property that we own that's closer to the river, but we also have some property on Broad Street that we own that we're in the process of improving. And we've invested some money in it because we know that that's going to be a hot spot for us to be able to do tapping in on both sides where you can look, as long as it's being city. But it takes time and it takes money. So that's right across from here. And we're going to do a lot of green space, and we quite naturally, we got to comply with the American Disability Act. So a lot of that is taking place, but we have consciously made an investment in that property so that it can be more of a retail and a living space where people can want to go and hang out. And I think it's also in the entertainment district. That section is already in the entertainment district. Commercial development, we've grown up a lot of that existing retail, Now, all those dots you see up there, they want to make sure that I let you all know that's not target business. Which they look at a certain amount of population that we're not quite there yet.
Their target's just not target.
That target is for a new retail, but it's not the target. So we don't want anybody going out saying we get the target. Hopefully we will.
But not that many.
But not that many. But the reason why it's hard to attract a lot of those businesses is because they look at a certain number of people in the population, and that if you don't fit that box, then there's a lot of chances you won't be able to get there. But those are existing, as you see in Phoenix Crossing, when I went over at 280 North, and I'm on 431, Village Crossing, and we've had a lot of development out on 80, which we have some other things in the pipeline that we may be pretty close to getting, right? Can't tell you right now. Confidentiality. A lot of great things happen. Fire department, we finally finished the fire training center. This project is $5 million, paid cash for it, just finished it. You have the burn buildings in there, you have the base storage, you do the training, but the great thing about it does add some economic development and cash to us because other fire stations, other cities do training here. We have Overlight and the Fed, the range.
They can come from all over.
They can come from all over and do the training. They got to stay here. So they have to stay in our hotels and eat our foods and all of that. So it does have an economic development side to it. But we're grateful that that's open, but that costs $5 million paid for. These are some of their apparatus. And I'm learning about this. This is a trailer where they carry the tanks in, so when they're out, when they're fighting fires, they don't have to run the oxygen. I guess it's not oxygen, it's what it's called. It's air that if it runs out, they don't have to run back to the station. You can transport that and redo it with those machines right there on site. That's $90,000. And that was huge for us to get that. But all matter of time doesn't wait when people need us. 2 pumpers and engine, $1.8 million as you see there. 1.8 million. All of that is it takes a lot of money to run the city. Let me tell you something. Phenix City is too small, too big to be small. We're a big-sized city, and we're not as small. We're small, but we're too big to be small. Parks and Recreation. Todd, help me out. These are all the things that we've offered in the past, and there's other future events that we put on for the community that will hopefully create a better quality of life for our citizens, and particularly their children. And we've had over how many did you say, 30? 30 events?
Yes, well, that's just part of it.
That's part of it. We got some more coming. Okay. Okay? You can look at all that and listen. You can we'll be glad to get a copy of this slide for you, because we are transparent. Parks and Recreation, Miracle Field. That is going to be huge. Right now, the first phase of it is, if the regular thing goes along, the first phase of it is $150,000 that we're doing for the building construction. And that's about 90% complete. That's the first phase. But this total cost is going to be about $5 million. But right now, in the first phase of it, we've already spent $150,000 in building construction. And they are in the process. 1.5 million, what did I say? No, 1.5, I got the 1 and 5. So it's going to be 1.5 million that we've already spent. Thank you, Angel. Right here, future plan for Moon Lake that we've got some money for, as you see there. It's in preliminary stage. We're going to have a deposit, we're going to have a, what you call that, a new deck that, what's that? Pavilion and whatever you can stand out an observation deck. So we're in the process of doing that. That's going to cost a lot of money. There it is right there, the steps, and that's the observation thing. Also here, which is the Austin Center Park, which is known as Roll Mount Park.
That's right, that's right.
We're going to build, and I don't know whether we've done the plans on it right here with Sean, but we're going to build a center down there that's going to hold the city, 500 people. That's formerly Roll Mount Park, but now it's changed the name to Austin Summer Park. But we're in the process of doing that, and it's going to cost, when it's 100 regular along, it's going to cost up in the millions. But those are the plans, and we're going to build the community event center that's going to sit over 500 people. That's the plan there. Parks and Rec, we know we went over the golf course that we bought last year. We put $1 million in irrigation system this year. They started on that in November. That was $1 million that we put in up there in the golf course. Our library is well used. As you see here, we have a total visit to our library. Last year was 54,000 people. Total items checked out 57,646. It's well used. If you can see some of the things we offer in the attendance of the program that we had at the library, almost 5,000 people. This right here shows you how well it is used. Here, you also will notice where the people come from. Lee County, Muskogee County, Russell County. There, the Rickman County, about 5,400 people use it from Russell County. These are people from outside, but outside Russell County are people out in the county, and I think that's about 5,400 people that use it outside of the city. Am I correct? These are things that they offer and they do. During the spring and also in the summer, I've already got some things, homeschooling programs, children programs. And that's it. But I do want to say this. I know I didn't put much up on the balance sheet and all that. We have reduced our debt by 11%. Total debt is $107 million. However, 47 million of that is self-supported. But the general that we owe in our debt is like $46 million. We paid that from last year from 50 million to 46 million, which is a 6% reduction. We paid our debts down. On the self-supported debt, which we call under the utility department in the school system, some that we had, we paid that down from 57 million, or it has been paid out from 57 million to 49 million, which is like a 14% decrease. But if you take out the self-supported, the debt that we have on our general obligations is like $46 million, which means for every dollar of debt that we have, our general, we have $1.12, which means we have more cash than we do debt on the general side, which is a strong, strong position. Our sales tax revenue year over year is up over 2%, but we haven't seen anything yet as we get all these businesses going. So our sales tax revenue is up year over year, from like 3.8 million to 3.9, almost $4 million. Okay, number of operating days we have, this is very strong. It's 494 days, which means that we can operate 490 days without paying money into the city, which is very strong. Our debt service coverage, which is the debt we pay, is at 9.72%. I think I'm right, Rita. But when we stress it at 6%, it even winds up being over 7.25 to 1 ratio, which means that that's how much money we have left over after we pay our bills. Now, the reason why we kept it at 6, I know prime interest rate is 7.5, but the reason why we kept it at 6 is because of our credit rating, which is AA-, which means that we would never get charged on bonds or debt more than 6% because of our credit rating. So we have a very strong credit rating. So with that, I want everyone in here to know that the city has done great within the last 10 years, and we have a lot of things that's on the horizon in the pipeline that is going to be taking place. We're not at liberty to say to anyone what that is, because until we sign the dotted line, it doesn't take place. So that's our run through. What kind of time? How long is that? About 30 minutes? All right, well, at this time, we want to ask anything, council, before I start. Let me see if we have any questions. And as I stated, if you have any questions, if you come up tonight, state your name and your district for us.
Yes, Mayor, I have something. Can we get Assistant City Manager to elaborate on the register briefly for the citizens?
Before the questions, you want?
Okay, we'll let them ask the question first.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions? Come on down. You have to state your name and your district. Is that mic working? Yes. You can get that. You look up here to there.
My name is Dean Mitchell. I'm in District 3. Mr. Day knows who I am. And I'm still, I have questions on the leaks that we still have in our area. I have one that's been leaking and still leaking on my residence since October of last year. Someone came and supposedly they did something, but it did not stop the leak. And I talked to several people, and one lady was really nice. One lady said that we have leaks all over the city, and you can see them too, but that's still a problem. When you have to jump over your curb to get to the mailbox, because they're standing water, and then now it's going to take 3 to 6 months to get that taken care of. We got mosquitoes and all this to deal with in excess. So my question is, why, I'm not understanding why we can't get the leaks corrected.
Okay, let me share this with first, Mayor. We have that same problem throughout the city of Phenix City. What we did, we contracted leaks out, and what they're going through all 3 districts, and they get the 10 most worst leak, and they're working with that. We're going to have somebody else to elaborate on that further for us, for the utility director. I'm sorry, Assistant Manager.
Yeah, I'll address it. Beginning in December of 2023, we basically undertook a complete reevaluation and rebuild of the utilities department in the city of Phenix City. In December of 23, we had 303 known leaks in the city. By November of 2024, we had 123 known leaks. due to staff shortages in the utilities department and the pace at which we were doing it, we wanted to increase that pace. So the city council authorized us to put out a bid where we have hired an independent contractor to address the leaks. So that began in December. Since then, they've corrected of the 123 known approximately 55 to 60 of those. And just so the citizens know how we pick which leak to fix, all the leaks are evaluated and they're triaged to put in order of importance by the volume of water in which they lose. So it's not necessarily time. Time is a factor of the volume, but the order in which we go and repair those is by the severity of the leak. So
when can we expect that to be corrected?
I don't know what the address is. I don't know where it's at on the triage list, but we're working at a pace right now of somewhere around 30 plus leaks a month to get repaired. So I would say you'd see significant improvement next 3 months. On the leak issue, we've corrected so many leaks in the last year or so that we've had a remarkable decrease in lost water volume that we treat at the water filtration plant. I say all that, I wish I could tell you that we're going to fix your leak tomorrow and then we get to the next week, but I can't say that. Leaks occur, new ones occur every day. Right? They occur because of age of infrastructure, they occur because of changes in weather. So if we fix the leak, there's going to be another one that follows it. But if you've called and your address is on the list, I promise you it's being triaged and worked on. All the city crews are working full speed to do it, and all the contractor crews are also working as fast as we can.
And that's what I alluded to was that whole infrastructure that we have. We have from 80 to 100 years old pipe. And so my understanding, when I talk to very dangerous about it, that when you fix one, you create pressure on those pipes and make another leak. But you turn the address in, so hopefully sooner than later we will do it. But all right.
Thank you.
You come on down.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Misha Ramsey Patrick, and I'm in District 2. First of all, I'd like to commend the council for their diligence and conservatorship over our reduced debt by 11%. I'm here because there are a couple of things that I would like to address, and one of them is the upgrading of our library. Our library should be the center of, or outside of the school system, a place of learning. And if you see a thriving city, you have a thriving library. And Ms. Henry has done a fantastic job. When you go in, you're very welcome. There are a lot of different resources that you can access. And people are coming. When I was looking at the volume that she's getting a lot of people from outside of our community. Well, that should be, and I don't know where you're looking inside, it should be the same way as on the inside. So my question is, are there any plans to any upgrading of the city library?
You mean on the outside or the inside?
Outside and the inside, yes, sir.
You-
Interior. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you for coming. As you know, an educated community is a much safer community. And so we have poured thousands of dollars into our library in the recent year. The interior, carpet, walls, the layout of the library, geology department, all those have been moved in a centralized location. But the exterior, as far as pressure washing and maybe a facelift could be possibly in the works. But the interior, like I said, has been totally revamped. Mr. Hunter, me and him and Ms. Henry and really the complete staff, because they saw the need for that. And this is not the first time we've had this question addressed. but we took action the first time we heard it. And so we have made significant progress in the outlook of our library. And truly, yes, we do need more citizens within the city to visit the library. But as I told this hearing, throughout the day, I'm just gonna say, a lot of people are at work. And if it's open in the evening time, she does see more, citizens coming out in the evening time. There was a lunch and learn, was that today on the 6th? So we have different activities, and once again, the basement of it could possibly be improved, but we're making significant stride in all that we do in District 2.
Okay. My next thing is the homeless grant. I noticed that it was saying that it was rehousing and prevention. Could you kind of explain how that money was used?
What's that now?
The homeless grant from your here.
Is that down at the South Memorial?
It says a homeless prevention stimulus.
It was a grant that was at the year, the first of the year. And it was done by another agency.
There you go.
Yes, and that grant was done, right around the time that that stimulus grant done. So it was actually, the city had to apply for it to get the funds, but then we transferred the funds to a church. I can't remember the name of the church, and they worked with the homeless people and everything like that. So it lasted for about a year and a half until those funds were expended. So that's an older one, we don't really have any of that going right now in grants.
Okay. Because that was $1 million.
Yes, ma'am.
It was transferred to a church.
Well, they were the sub-recipient of the grant, so they were the ones that actually wanted the grant, but they had to go through the city, to get that grant through the federal and state levels.
And that's not the first time we've done that. Another time we did it, it wasn't handled correctly by the church or the organization, and they took it away. But that does happen, but we don't have any control as far as this done.
In the future, when if you get that grant back, what will be the process to access some of those funds?
You mean individually or as a whole?
As an organization.
But it has to be a subgroup that gets it.
Like the church?
The church, yeah.
How did the church find
They
out?
were a nonprofit at that time, so they were getting emails or just looking at.
And watching and looking for it.
Yeah, these things that
So
come
you have to
through.
look at it and catch it at the right time. So we have had it.
This
back-
website.
We have had it before, but the time we had it, the organization did not do right about it, and so they took it away. We're not gonna call names of organizations, but they are the ones that really control it, but they have to use the conduit of the city to be able to get it.
Okay. My next thing is kind of trivial. I think what is very important.
Well, it's trivial.
It's the football stadium. When are we going to research?
We've already talked about that, and we are, we've talked to the school system, we've talked to the board, and we got some things that are planned that hopefully will take place.
Okay, and my final question, and this is something I think is something dear to all of us. I have a grandfather who is in his 90s, and he has lived in the same house that since I've been, so that's over something over 50 years. But the crime is getting out of control. And I know you as private citizens can't do much about someone going somewhere to shoot up a place. But have we as a city started putting things in place to make our city safer for our older citizens? Because like I said, my grandfather lived in the same house that he has lived in for over 50 years. But now I am, as his granddaughter, becoming more afraid for him. Because it seems like the crime is escalating. And I don't know what is the reason, how we can stop it, but have we started kind of strategizing so that we can kind of examine those things?
Well, in today's environment, as you may or may not heard, we're now 30 police, 30 officers. But this is a problem around this country. And if we knew the exact module to use to stop it, we can use it to stop it. But I do know that with us being short, and I do know that the chief has things in place exactly what, but they are doing everything they can to prevent crime. I mean, the number one thing for us is the safety of people. And that's why, and I'm getting off said when I said I could say something about it. When we did that bridge thing, before that, you couldn't even walk across it as a car. And I think that bridge was 70 years old, and we had it replaced. And county, uncounted people didn't agree with it. But we take safety initiatives. That's the number one thing we do. I wish, and Chief, you can jump in, but it's a problem throughout this country. And, you know, talking to Mayor Henderson and all that, it's something that makes all of us scratch our heads. And I think a lot of it, we need to continue to educate more, and I don't mean just with the school system. I'm talking about just educating people to respect other people. And so that's my take, and that's what I said. Chief, you want to
Maybe elaborate just a little bit on that. Oftentimes, we only hear about the bad on the news, the big stories, homicides. You know, if you only watch the news, you think things are out of control. Last year, we had 6 homicides in Phenix City. That was about 50% of what it was prior to the last 5 years prior to that. We like it to be 0, but in reality, there's people are going to do bad and do things. And we've got the police department that's been very effective in bringing those folks to justice. The 6 homicides we worked on last year, all 6 of them were solved by making arrests. I would urge you to look at the national average and see that it's more 50 to 60% range. So, even though we've been short-handed, our officers, some of them are in here tonight, have done a tremendous job. But there's also things as a community that we have to do, and collectively, we're right next door, right across the river here from Columbus, 5 times our size. But if there's not economic opportunity for folks, and I think that's one thing that from some of these slides that you see the development and the jobs that are coming in, that's really what's going to change the next improvements in our city. And we're looking at this building we're standing in. It's a good example of what the city, some of the things the city is able to do with income, additional tax income that comes from that, and making improvements throughout the city and infrastructure, building, pay for employees. So there's been a lot of things behind the scenes that you all may not directly know about, but we're making real progress in the police department. We just graduated 4 from the last police academy. We have 4 right now in Afghanistan. But we can extend. We have 1 in Montgomery, so we have 5 in the police academy now. We have 4 that are 3 that are going to go into Dothan in April, and we have several in the pipeline. So we made some significant changes. Things are looking up. Honestly, we had, since COVID, we lost our assistant chief to COVID, we lost a captain, we lost a couple of other folks that had full retirements, and there's a large change in our workforce. A lot of people leaving the workforce and looking to retire. What that means is we've got a lot of younger people that are around the 10 to 15 year range in their career that we're building up to step in and take. Some of us have been around in longer places, but we've got a great police department. They're doing great work. We just had a junior police academy back in the summer. It was the first year that some of our school resource officers came to us and approached us on that program. It was a big success. We're looking to build on that this year. I see Rick Chancey, our district attorney here, juvenile crime and young people commit crimes, and this is in Columbus as well as here in Phenix City is the big problem. And we put a lot of effort and some funding into that to make sure that we have enough beds for both violent and juvenile criminals that are out here shooting up the city. We've increased our beds in Russell County from 2 juvenile beds to 5. That was a significant increase. That's something that we came before our council and asked for funding for. We talked with Judge Zach Collins, our new juvenile probation officer, but there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and we're very keenly aware of the problems, and we have a strategy and plans to address them. So I didn't want to take up a ton of time, but I wanted to tell you we are trying. We're doing everything. I feel like we're making progress.
What, as a community member, or everyone who's sitting out here as community, that we need to help facilitate? Because we do understand a lot of the crime is coming from our members.
It is. It's increasingly younger people and gun violence, and increasing with the gun violence, we're seeing a trend that, and I used to work in investigations for a good part of my career, is it's not uncommon to go to a shooting scene now. We see, Mr. Chancey's going to allude to this, we'll see 50 to 100 shell casings because of the gun problem. And there have been some changes in state law that are not good for law enforcement, that make it tougher for us to stop people and investigate people carrying guns. I'm pro Second Amendment, I'm also pro common sense. So talk to your state legislators and tell them that juvenile crime is out of control and we need some tougher laws and some tougher things in place. And so that will help law enforcement be more effective in doing their job. Another thing is just, and we've tried to do this through our community outreach through Faith and Blue and juvenile or junior police academy things, is trying to be more involved with the young people in this community and building trust with them. Unfortunately, one of our high-profile cases at Spinoza Bank, where a young person, 2 young people were involved in a homicide. It was through the work of our officers and through that officer's community outreach directly led to those arrests we made, because he was able to release some evidence and get us pointed in the right direction on who did that. So we really just have to be very involved in the community, involved in our children, involved in the schools, and build that trust and give them opportunity through growth.
Chief, as you up this audience, and you talk about the state legislature, let them know, hold on, let this audience know that there's a kid walking down Broad Street right now with a machine gun strap on it. What can you do about it? As far as the law that was changed with the legislature, that affected you all and the sheriff.
Like I alluded to, there's no more serious concealed carry permit environment. You can open carry, you can carry concealed, you can carry guns in your car with no permit. We're very limited in what we can do to stop, detain somebody and investigate to see if they're involved in some criminal activity. So it really ties the hands of law enforcement and makes it much more difficult for our husband to work.
I'm saying, inform them, that was done at the level.
That's still the same level. And I know we're in a conservative, this is a very conservative area, very, people in the South go to church, they're conservative, they believe in family, they also believe in gun rights. So it's a double-edged sword with gun rights. Like I said, I'm pro Second Amendment too, but common sense has to come into play somewhere, and you can't take law enforcement's ability to investigate crime and investigate people who they believe are involved in some criminal activity. You take that away from us, it makes our job that much more difficult.
Okay. We are trying. It's tough, but I can tell you, being short doesn't help at all. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Come on down.
Good afternoon, Annie Davis. I'm in District 3 and Council today. I want to first thank Council today for his diligence in helping me with my current situation. He has been remarkable, and I appreciate you following your feedback. I kind of want to piggyback on what I hope her name is Ms. Mitchell said, because I have concern about the leaks and sewage and all that in Phenix City. Phenix City has a website that we utilize as citizens, and it's a very good website. Is there a way that we can incorporate a hyperlink in there where we can put the addresses that's being worked on as far as the water problems and issues like that? And I guess that would be so the citizens can know. You know, we can hear it all day that we're working on it, but if we see it in black and white, our address is there.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
going to let us know that we can feel something in.
Yes,
This has been a ongoing situation. We all know my name is familiar to you.
Which phone about your
Yeah,
house?
I've been in a hotel 5 months,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I really need to, we need to see some kind
Sure.
of result.
Yeah, I can understand that. I believe that we can make the information available to the public as to what those addresses are.
Now, if I recall, your problem occurred because of the
Well, it was in water and sewer, so, yeah.
Rain?
So,
Rain.
yeah, we couldn't, rain had nothing to do with it. Okay,
It
thank
was
you.
because of the leak?
Hmm?
Was it done because of the leak?
It was done because of sewers, not water, and so I'm wondering if they're in the same thing, but if it's something that the city is going to work on.
Yeah. Well, they can't.
Yes, ma'am. Water leak issues have absolutely nothing to do with particular acute problem that you suffered at your house, your sewage backup. Those are completely different.
But I guess my thing is, this is going to be something that the city works on. If there could be a list that's going, if you were working, I can't remember, you said it was 123 known lists. Then we could have something going down there to show, okay, we're at 30 left or something.
Sure.
Maybe that's a chance, my time is coming soon.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you this statement, but I do want to say this too. And this will, there's a level of trust that we have to have. That what they say is what they want to do. And as he stated, we started off at 300 and how many?
We had 300 in November of 2023. In November of 2024, we have roughly 120. And so
We reduced it over half.
we've been very aggressive. And
So we're working hard.
And don't you think publishing that will establish that level of trust, it will only improve it, get access
That's
to it.
what we're doing here.
Thank you.
But yeah, but I hear you, we can't.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am a resident and I am concerned about the issue regarding the water meters and retroactive billing for residents. Now, I understand that it is for people that feel they have been underpaying or fulfilling, but my water bill doubles. In fact, it's about triple since the city. What I want to know, what do you all have in place for situations like that, where if there's a little glitch, if there's no leaks at the house, whatever you were saying, but there was something. What kind of method do you all have in place for addressing that issue?
Well, excuse me, at this time, we want to ask our city manager number in that.
But let me say this to everybody. The thing is that we have made adjustments, but one thing that can't be denied, that the water went through the meter. There was some miscalculation. But
let me just go back 15 years. All right. In 2010, the city contracted with a company called Master Meter, right? And the contract with Master Meter for a new system of water meters and registers. It's called AMR systems, automatic rate systems. So in 2010, we would physically go into every address, flip it open the lid, write down the number of gallons that you use, bring it back to the utilities, put it in a computer, and then send a bill out. So in 2010, the city agreed to purchase this master meter system for approximately $3 million. And the idea of the system was that instead of having a meter reader go to every house, you have a meter tech who's in a truck that's outfitted with an antenna. And the truck then rides the routes, right, of all 16,000 customers in the city. The meter tech doesn't have to get out, doesn't have to open it up. All that information is sent to what's called a register, which is inside of the meter. The registers are supposed to transmit a signal every 11 seconds, right? They're programmed for that. They're self-contained. They have a battery that's supposed to last 20 years, emitting every 11 seconds. So you're guaranteed to get a read when you drove through. Well, for the first 5 years, it worked great. We had 6 or 7 of the meters fail. But in 2015, 2016, we started to experience an unprecedented amount of failures. Hundreds, thousands. It exponentially grew every month, every year. To the point that we had to get with Master Meter, the company. They agreed to give us 10,000 new registers, right? And the reason is, they said, well, the 15,000 that we bought and installed will impact it. And what the impacted means is the register, the device in that pit that sends out a signal, was failed. That's where the computer glitch was. The glitch was this. Instead of emitting a signal every 11 seconds, it constantly emitted a signal. Just every second, every millisecond, until the battery died prematurely. Well, when the battery dies, the truck riding around can't pick up a signal, right? There's no signal. And what happens is that the computer system, when the signal's not received, it creates an estimated bill, right? And that estimated bill uses a formula to estimate based on prior month's consumptions. So it takes the prior month's consumptions and it applies and gives you an estimated bill. So what's happened recently is we've gotten about 10% of our system is not reading, is skipping. 10% is roughly 1,600 meters. So when we started in January doing actual reads and pushing to finish the meter register exchanges, fixing that problem permanently, or trying to, when we got an actual bill, we found out some customers had been estimated for 6 months. They've been estimated for a year. Some have been estimated longer than that once we finally got the data. And so we took the number of months that you've been estimated, and then the actual consumption was taken off of the meter itself, and we averaged that out, and we charged the customer for up to 6 months. If the customer was underpaying for a year and a half, they're getting a year's worth of that underpay. We're only back for 6 months. Now, the problem is one of the legs. Now, we're not just fixing the problem with underbilling, but we've also overbilled. And so we've also been issuing refunds. So it's not a one-way street. It goes both ways. And so we've dealt with that problem on both sides. And here's where we are moving forward. From this point on, whether your register is emitting that signal or we're getting the automatic read, that's good. Your bill's accurate, it's an accurate read. If it's not emitting the signal, there'll be an actual person pulling the data off of your meter every month until it's fixed. That's short term, right? Just in January, 1st of January, the council approved the purchase and installation of a new system, a completely new system. It's called an AMI system. It will have trucks riding around, people. It works just like your Alabama Power meter does. It gets a signal to a tower, which has been downloaded into the computer. We hope to have it completed in 2025, hopefully by the third quarter of 2025. And we believe that's just going to make the bills more accurate, reliability of the system more accurate. And what the city's done, not only just moving forward and committing funds for that, we instigated litigation against the master meter in 2021 to recover funds that we believe were owed to the city of Phenix City. Right? The city has spent enormous amounts of money trying to correct this problem, dealing with the faulty equipment, purchasing new equipment, installing new equipment, lost revenue on these counts that are estimated. And so we did file a lawsuit against Master Meter in 2021. This past week we did reach settlement in that lawsuit. And that money will be used to improve the water meter system and hopefully recoup some of the money that the citizens have lost.
So I guess my question is, what's the procedure for determining those people that were overcharged?
If you felt like you're overcharged?
Yeah.
Well, if you had an estimated bill, we would be happy to look at that and run it around. And if you're owed money, then we certainly issue refunds every day. So that's the situation.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And some of the bills have an E for estimated and A for actual. So look at your bill and.
Yeah, there's roughly 1,600 accounts that were corrected and bills is 100% actuary every month from here on out. So,
So in other words, I'm hear you started the January billing for the underestimated.
the last 1,600, yes, ma'am. I mean, we've been fixing these for
So the bill.
for more than a decade.
So the bill could have increased as a result of underestimated that we made.
Yes, that's
in
right.
January.
Yeah, so what your January bill would have covered all of the underestimation. And so after the January cycle, everyone's bill should be square. And the actual usage would be the actual bill. Only the January bill will have the back billing for 1 month too much or up to 6, whatever it is. That won't be moving forward.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Jane. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Raymond Peterson. I stay in District 3. Councilman Day is my city councilman. As a concerned resident of District 3, concerned about the future of our community, are there any efforts to, for City Road being prioritized in the economic development of the city? Are there any future plans to ensure that our neighborhood is not left out of the progression and marginalization in the city's growth?
Okay, we're gonna have somebody elaborate on that board.
Let me say this. Can I say this? Can I say this? Okay, Seal Road used to be very vibrant. I mean, I grew up here, lived down in South Phenix City, Black Road. Seal Road used to be very vibrant. We had 2 cleaners, M&M cleaners, Cook cleaners. We had a fish market. We had drugstores. We had restaurant, Knife and Fork. I don't know if some of you all in the counties was there. We had, used to be a grocery store named Winners. But the key is, all those businesses, and I left some, all those businesses were established by people who put the capital in, black people that put the capital in those businesses. This is the misconception that people have about Seal Road, and we get beat up all the time, particularly the city manager and myself, because we are doing more on one end than the other. That's why I said to that point I said earlier. And when I've gone to meet and talk with people and they ask them, this is the question I ask them. You're right. Why don't you get a group of people, raise the capital, and start doing businesses on Seal Road? The city cannot use taxpayer monies to invest in businesses, because guess what? If we lose, I think you ought to be more upset with us, because we're using taxpayer monies to put businesses down there that no city can do that. It's illegal. So what I would ask that you do, get some people, young people, let's work together and make Seal Road viable, but we can't use city funds to help with any of those businesses.
Okay, and earlier it was mentioned that there was a grant team for the city. Is that team unable to locate any revitalization grants to help with that specific area?
Yes, we can, but you have to make sure they're out there. You have to look for them. What our grant team do to get ahead, you have to constantly look. And I think that was mentioned earlier about the question that Mrs. Patrick asked. You have to be constantly on that. Yeah, just like with the bridge, we got grants to do that. But they have to be specifically. But let me tell you something. To help us with grants when the opportunity comes, we need people in that community to also help us do that, where we can make sure that we have a greater chance of getting the grants. Now, just because you apply, you don't always get it. But I agree with you. I grew up down as a little boy, barbershops, matter of fact, John James, all of those businesses, those individual black people invested in that business. And that's why I've been challenging people who live down in that area where I grew up at. Let's get some capital together, invest, and take ownership ourselves. I will tell you this. will see some things going up in the very near future. But guess what? It's not done by people. They want these things. It's done by a church. It will be done by a church. So again, we need to get more people to be able to work together and put some capital, which is money in, and just start looking for business opportunities. But we cannot invest city money, taxpayer money, to invest in the businesses on any street more than less than zero.
I have one more question about, it relates to animal control. I've had to make several phone calls to my neighborhood because I have children, and there are a lot of vicious dogs that roam the streets, and nothing has been done about it.
Have they called?
I have called several times. I had an incident, I would say it's been approximately like 6 months ago, where a police officer shot a dog that charged at him when he got hit out of his police car. It was one of the neighbor's dogs that was going unleashed, but there are several dogs that roam the streets. It's not safe for my children to play outside.
Okay. Chief, you want to respond to that? Yeah, and we agree with you. You're right.
We have 2 full-time animal control officers, and I'm gonna get my business started right now with an actually got a phone number, but you let me know exactly where the call is. So call throughout the city and it ebbs and flows, but we were actually just out in our parking lot just before the meeting, because we had a vehicle that's been around here, we're gonna have to let out a trap, a cage, to try to stay free, humanely against that dog, but we're aware it's a problem throughout the city, and we will address it, and if you can call, I'm sure we can take care of it.
And thank you so much.
Mayor, just a minute, Mayor, I'd like to elaborate further on this. I understand what the young lady asking. You're not the first person that approached me about business on Old Seal Road. I'm familiar with that Old Seal Road. That's the only way people could travel back in the day, like the mayor said. I uncovered everything he said. But let me share with all of us. When folks do business, they do a study. They do a study. Those folks that do the investment, they're not going to put that business on a place where you're not getting a good return. Those businesses that on the 431, they did a study. That's why you see those businesses down there on the 431 4 lane. As the mayor said, what we need to do, come together as a group and see what we can do. But there are some things coming down the Seal Road. As far as paving the Seal Road, that's on the document to be paid. There are some plans to at least pave the Seal Road.
Will the exit ever be reopened?
Exit?
Like, each day, we have on Seal Road.
No, the state did that. The state changed that. Can I say something? What I'm getting ready to say may not be very popular, but I can't do this with one way, and that's to be honest. All right. Seal Road. We get beat up about Seal Road for a lot of times. A lot of relatives, they live around Seal Road. Now, we're going to face the truth about how we try to change the city verse-wise and try to be fair. I guess I have to look at 2 of the older people that I deal with a lot of the time, my cousin Mel, who's right there, and Pastor Noah Williams. A lot of people looking at things the way they used to be. It's not that way anymore. Seal Road was that way because colored people couldn't go anywhere else. So you had colored people that invested in businesses. If you start down Seal Road and you come back up where Mr. Stevens was, where Mr. Fuller was, where electrical companies, grocery store, where mail shoppers is now, grocery store, gas station. These were black, prideful people. And ownership was put there all the way through Seal Road when you couldn't go anywhere else. Now, a lot of the families did not follow that. You had the mobsters there, you had the cooks there, you had auditors, you had auto shops, you had a lot of people doing this. A lot of our people with a lot of top pride have passed away. As far as you're looking at the big box, when we dealt with Dollar General to bring them here, there was there. One part of the negotiation was to put Dollar General on Seal Road, where the grocery store used to be. You even take the pride that was there with the American Legion. We have a lot of veterans that's around here. They used to have baseball teams there, basketball teams for kids, prideful things that they did. A lot of them don't get together and do that anymore. And we try to talk to people to think about what's going to happen in Seal Road. We even had people years ago saying, well, the highway is going to come through 431. people that was holding on to property. Well, 431 is developed already. You know, that's the southern end of the city where people are going to establish businesses where a multitude of people come through that they can pay their employees, that they can make money from. You know, it's not the privatized thing, you go to restaurants and stuff. But we need investment. If people want to see Sierra Road to come back and bounce back, it's going to take a lot of entrepreneurship and people that can have pride in what they want to do with personal businesses that's there. You know, you still can count the shops that's there. Johnny Bob's shop been established there 60 plus years. You have some things that disappear, but I try to be honest about things. You know, if you want, we fought and fought to get rid of segregation, to open up areas where people can go anywhere they want to go and be established or live where they want to go. Now, we have a lot of that. We have so much of it, but it's the organizations that's got to get together that says that they want to reestablish prideful businesses. And no matter who it is, whether it's black, white, green, yellow, whatever, they want to establish a business that's there, but no one's going to open up a business that they can't sustain. But I understand exactly what you're saying. I have to look at this a whole lot, and I hear different things being said. I don't care what form I'm in. I don't care what people I'm in front of. I'm going to speak what I know for a fact. And I know how it was when we were kids. And there's no other thing that I can tell you about that, because most of the biggest, larger businesses are going to locate on 431. That's where they go to. No matter what our economic development guy does, Sean, we always try to promote and try to do that. Now, you do have a great point on what other funds will open up from the federal government, which we see we have a large change in right now. A lot of things are going to be streamlined, and they're going to be looking at it, that we can have programs where people could fix up and establish older homes. They clean up and fix up things, but it bothers me a lot where we can't get some of the kids, get organizations together to clean up different areas where we need to clean up. And take and have pride in the different areas. There's so much pride that we lost over the years, you know, in that particular, in the community and stuff, but it's nobody's coming to do that. It's people that's got to pick that up with organizations themselves, you know, within themselves. You know, it's things that the city can help do and take care of that. But you will have the regular maintenance that should go there. You should always fight for that. You should know you fight for your roads, you fight for your infrastructures is there. You know, we have things down 5th Street South. We've invested a large amount of money in the different areas, but some of the things that you all don't see the parking director have to deal with all the time is the constant vandalism that we have to deal with all the time, replacing things and putting things back in place. But we never give up the fight as far as trying to do that. But see, a voice like yours makes a difference. A voice like yours can help us start something outside of here to get something started and have people to take pride in, because kids are different than what we were coming up, you know? It's a whole different thing to get them out there, because something can happen here with a kid, and our police department try to handle it, try to be mentors, and some of the parents sometimes get in the way. You know, but the problem you all was talking about earlier, how does a 15 and 16-year-old kid walk around their parents' house with a machine gun? How? And they say what the city is going to do? What are we going to do in the home? This starts in the home. You know, it don't matter who it is or what it is, but the problem is that people bring here sometimes, and that we try to combat and take. See, I don't have to sit up here and basically try to make everything seem just great, you know, to say the seat. I believe in us being honest with one another and telling the truth to get things. Some people would say anything to satisfy you, or tell you all that. I'm not going to do that. We're going to look at what we see on the news in this area we were talking about earlier. When Columbus has has to be FBI, the GBI, we have the ABI over here, we have people everywhere that's patrolling. Some of that information can't be controlled because it's surveillance and they're trying to run that criminal element out. But it's a lot of things that they can't do, you know. The district attorney can tell you that, you know, he's in our hands. It's a lot of people, but it starts with, and I'll say this, and I'm not just trying to say things to be cool and stuff, but the only way we're gonna get somewhere instead of just beating one another down and saying this person can't do this because regardless of what anybody's saying, this city has come a long ways, and we have a long ways to go. I'll say the things that people may not want to hear. We will never be a lead-free city, never. You wouldn't be in the utility department, you wouldn't have it. It's not designed because you got to constantly invest money into the system. And you all own that system. That system belongs to you all. It's an enterprise business. It's designed, it belongs to the citizens. Our job is to try to manage that system. And a lot of times when people talk about increases in bills to keep that system going, a lot of people don't understand that until they can't flush, or they can't turn the knob. But they expect that to happen, but the system, that's why I wish a lot of people would attend these meetings. I wish we could see some of you all and other people attend these meetings sometime because too many people enjoy hearing things from the street, which is nonsense a lot of times. When you come here and you dance, you know, give the people a chance, give the council people a chance to build their credibility and things, because they have no reason why. A lot of times they sit you down and show you these things and you'll see a whole different picture. But when you're talking about certain areas that you're looking at and cleaning up and people take pride in, I would love to see that. I would love to be a participant in it and help. But it's going to take people, someone to get that started and get the people to follow that. You know, I know the church is trying to do everything that they can do. But you know, and it's not going to just, it takes more than that. The school system trying to do what they can do, but what you're asking is a great question. And maybe you can, your family or husband, somebody can come down and get with economic development with Charlie Cullen. They're real personal with it, so you can get some answers.
Just, and I don't mean to put you on the spot with it, I'm curious, because words can be messy. Would you say economic development may mean something totally different than me, right? So I'm curious, are there any examples of when you say economic development, I want to get it along so what that might actually mean?
As far as businesses go, we do have some barbershops, some beauty salons, we have a Dollar General, and we have a grocery store. But in comparison to other parts of town, our part of town does look abandoned. And I know we talk about the history of the town, it is very rich, but there are some people on Zero Road who are progressive and educated, and we feel like our neighborhood and our community, it deserves a little bit more attention.
So when you said that you refer to revitalization, you're referring to certain types of businesses you'd like to see, that's more what I mean, give me more specific.
Yes, I would like revitalization, different businesses, to meet the needs of today's individuals. I would love to sit down with you one day and discuss some of these things.
Share my interest as well.
What you do?
We live in a world that's much different when it comes to retail too. It's so data driven, so much more than we just know them, right? So decisions are made based on so much data as opposed to other factors. And so I'd love to dive deeper into what you're being saying.
Thank you.
So that was us, you get the young people, young things, talking about, some of the things.
I want to make a comment in support of the city council in this process because, of course, Mel and I, we started years ago with CURE, Citizens for Unification, Revitalization, and Economic Development. So we asked, one of the things that I'm also the executive to keep Phenix City beautiful. So I'm always trying to encourage groups to clean. We give them the bags and everything else. We always go down. We have to work with the adults don't want to do that. I guess we work with the students. So we're trying to implement things in the school as a partner with everybody. But I want to go back to Seal Road. The prior, I mentioned this before, but I said the more that I mentioned it, maybe the people who be in the audience will hear me that worked there before. But how many years ago? How many years? 12 years. Okay, so the old city council. We came and we talked to them about what could we do on Seal Road to enhance Seal Road, our businesses and all of that. The city said, well, we can't enforce making business people, you know, the upkeep and everything, but what we will do, we will work with you. So keep Phenix City beautiful, the city and Cure wrote letters, we pulled out a day for people that own the property on Seal Road. And we asked them, the city said, we can give you the payment. We gave letters to every business on Seal Road. That's been about 12 years ago.
Yeah,
one person, Bell's Barbershop, used that pay. No one else tried, and now look at it. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to establish some pride in our community. And I don't know if you heard that spiel before, but I was there because I know you all are trying to do some things down in the church, but we got to take some responsibility. It's gone down even more now.
Well, Johnny James did something. He improved it or something too.
But as you can see, it is not what it should be. That's a historical place and unique. And so, but this age group now, they're wanting to do something. So I'm glad.
It's good. Exactly.
Oh, let me say this, please. I represent that district when you talk about Seal Road. Let me say this to all of us. It really bothered me when I get a call and go down to Melvin Park, and I go into the restroom when somebody had broken up the Facebook, the commode, and all of that. I mean, we got to take interest in our own area. That's what we got to do. And let me share this with all of us. It bothered me when I go down to Austin Swimming Park when somebody has stole all the aluminum banks at 6 of them. It bothered me. When I go down to Austin Swimming Park, I go into the restaurant, brand new commode, this tour. I mean, that's going to make any sense to me. It really bothered me. Well, I said that to say this to all of us that live in District 3. We got to get interest in our own area. That's what we got to do. I've been asked this for many times. Mr. Davis, there's nothing over here for the kids to do. I'm one person. But we got to make some investment. We got to get interest in our own area. And it bothered me in District 3 throughout the city when I see folks throwing paper out of their cars and stuff. I pull up behind a person right at the stop sign on 25th Street, set down Burger King bags out there. I mean, that don't make any sense to me. But what we got to do, we got to take an interest in our city, keep it clean. We got to take an interest in our personal, where we live at. We got paper in the street. Help us out here. This is your city. It's not ours. It's not Mr. Day or any of the county. It's your city. It's your tax dollars. We got to take an interest in that. I hate to get emotional, but it bothers me when folks tell me, we don't have anything on Seal Road. We don't have anything. What are we doing as a group? We got to take that initiative for ourselves to do something about that. I just have one vote, folks, but I can tell you one thing. I can get you an answer. It might not be an answer that we like, but I can get you an answer that what I tell all of my constituents. But I'm a city council that they're trying to do what's right. I go, when they have a problem, I go visit what I can do, but I do my job of turning these out and in. That's what I do. That's the process that we have, and that process I take. Thank you.
Can I say something here before you finish?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to really get an audience of people that can take something away. I'm being honest with you all. You know, so while we have the ears here, we got to put as much information in them as possible. Because some of the things that were said earlier, when you was talking about the workforce, we are city. We can't relax our drug policy on people. A lot of private companies can do that. I want people to understand that. That's why we are at a shortage a lot of the time. I can go to HR. People will walk in our HR department to get a job, spelling just like that. If you go in there, you get contact. We have problems like a lot of people have, but we are fighting this every day to try to get that done. So it's a lot of things I wish we would really take a look at what's going on here.
If you have a question.
I do.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, how you doing?
Mayor Lowe and Council. My name is Joanne Lyons.
Ed Richardson.
And we're from Century Park. We've had a problem with four-wheelers in our area. What can we do about that? For as the guys going up the street, down the street, up the street, and there are mostly elderly people in our neighborhood. But a lot of times we do not police.
Have you called the police?
Yeah, you have to call
See,
the police.
like to say this, Mayor, I like to say this, for the chief speech, I like to say this. I've been down there numerous of times, I've turned over the end, I ain't been down there numerous of times, after these presentations. And, we're gonna ask our chief to come up and operate for us.
I'm very familiar with your property. I probably spoke on Tom, Captain Thomas, and probably both of you, but we sent officers down there really, before we can go places that the patrol car can't go. We run into that, if the power line, the gas line, or whatever, is coming. We did have one arrest, we popped up, they tried to run from our office down there in Red House, and causing injuries to passengers or drivers. It's dangerous for them, it's dangerous for us to be chasing. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. But really, what it comes down to is finding out what house they're going to, and get that homeowner who is knocking on that door, and talking to some parents and getting them in control. So I think that's the solution. Chasing them around all day, especially for young people, is get those parents and get both the parents accountable for the children.
So these are our children.
These are.
They're grown folks to be able to play for them as well.
Can I say something? I want to commend officers that came down there. It has gotten better since we made the address it. I live at 1501 Jackson Drive, and the action is next door to me, the right of me. And I have made several complaints about this person. And it has gotten better. The dogs, fireworks during the 4th of July, after the 4th of July, New Year's, after New Year's, fireworks still in the middle of the street. In the street. It has gotten better, but I thank you for that.
Okay, well, they are fine, they are working.
I see.
A lot of times, yes.
Yes.
You know how that goes.
There's another person that I want to address also on my street. There is a huge leak hole that is sinking all across the road, and the water is shooting up, and it's just flowing right on the river. And I really believe that needs to be.
Have you called the attorney?
I did that last year. I did last year.
Well, it may be
And I
more
had
far.
one of the other guys that even.
Excuse me, what address again? I remember coming down, I turned that in too.
It's right in between my house and.
What address again?
608 Buford Drive.
608 Drive.
And the cars really has to go around. A car cannot go up or come down. If that car comes down, it has to wait until the other car go around because it is really going straight across the road.
Our utility directors in the
Okay. And I
address.
need a call.
Okay. Utility director.
608 Buford Drive.
608.
608 B-U-R-D. Drive.
Ma'am, let me ask you this, is there a coin down there in the street?
Yes, there.
Okay.
They just put
Okay, once you see that coin down, that means that the city have knowledge of that post.
Okay.
Johnny got the address. He'll look into it.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all. Mr. Luke, come on up. Come on down.
Okay, after the change, today, I'm at 1409.
Yeah, address.
Right, I'm at 1409 East South. We ride on the other day, and my wife said, oh, I got another change. On the stop sign. National 15 Avenue Street. We wore for 20 years, been 1409 East South. That changed to 280 couple days.
That's post office.
No, well, no, this is on the street.
On the street?
Yeah, street.
So it's not a mail.
Not a mail. It's on the stop sign. So when the mail came around, they would throw them off some kind of way.
Yeah, it would.
May I ask that today, and I talked to Mr. Luke already, they put a new sign in, a new stop sign, and I told Mr. Luke, I don't see them changing the street like that.
Well, the street would have been on the stop sign, you go on 7th Street.
Yes, that's
that way. 8th Street going, well, I say, but now 15th Avenue. That changed across the nation.
So, but you're aware of,
I went down and took a look at it.
You told me that I got pictures.
I saw that today, I saw the change that he was referring to, but, again, it's just like another.
thank you, Sheila, did you give us today your phone number?
It's 1409.
Hey, it's out. That is on the sign, it's stop line.
Okay. Definitely, you showing the address? I can't see that.
So,
You should get what all. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Well, we've been here a while, but it's a good thing because we do want people to ask us questions. And we do want to ask you all to get involved. We have nothing to hide. All this presentation that we went over is open to the public. The numbers and things that I went over, we'll give you copies of that, our loans and our debt coverage service and our number of years of days of reserve. All that's on here, and it's exactly what I told you. So you're welcome to get this along with the, you got that, hold that back. If you want a copy of that, we can make an arrangement for you to get that, but we are not. We are very transparent, and what we want is people to come and talk to us first. Don't get out there on Facebook like a lot of people do and start saying things that are totally not true. But what I want to ask all of us to do, let's work together to make our community better. The whole city. It's not, it takes all of us, and I sincerely and wholeheartedly ask, and I know people are going to try to provide us, but we got to refuse to not let people do that. Because what affects one affects the others. And this council, we love this community, all of us. The board chose to come back here. My wife and I chose to come back here, and the ones that's been here stayed here because they love being city. But we want you all to help us, We're citizens too.
Mayor,
It's going to take all of us.
Mayor, I can interrupt you, but if you finish, I'd like to ask all the folks that came in District 3 that I invited them.
No, I wasn't finished with those.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mayor, that was on my mind, and I want to ask all the folks that in District 3, will you please stand at the time? District 3.
Well, let's do this, too. Everybody can think city.
No. Everybody can think city. At District 3 right there. Okay, thank you. Mr. Noble, we're not going to get that.
No, listen, honestly, help us to help us. And let's on that paper you see on there, let's not listen. We want to do it right. But you gotta let us know, and if you think we're hitting the B key, and we need to hit the A key, let's not talk about it, and let us show you that we're hitting the right key, or you show us that we're hitting the wrong key, and we can go off in the sunset happy. But thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you all. If you want copies of this, you're more than welcome to get it, but we did not put this on the screen. But if you want a copy of it, to look at all our debt, our obligations, our debt service, and all those things, the amount of cash we have, you're more than happy to get it. Okay? Because we don't want anybody coming out. Like I got a call yesterday, and Shannon heard it. $1.2 million lawsuit or settlement we got. This person thinking you're taking the money and spending it and charging them more on water bill. And you all heard some of the words he said. But anyway, thank you all so much for coming. Keep us accountable, and we certainly want to keep you all accountable. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, sir. Real quick.
Real quick.
Very quick.
I apologize for everything, but just listening to you speak, I just wanted to share this. I felt the need to share. My name is Benjamin Malone. I'm not a native citizen of Phenix City, but I've been here for about 18 years now, I believe. I'm originally from a little small place called Thomasville, Alabama, down in Mobile. But I've been in this community long enough to be concerned about this community. And in hearing people express their concerns and the things that they're concerned about this evening, I do feel the need to share this with you. There's a saying that I love, and that saying is that a society grows great when old men plant trees to shade which they know they'll never sit.
You didn't serve, huh?
Say again?
You in the military?
Former military.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those phrases.
Oh, first off, phrase, yeah. Yes, sir. So in saying that, we need to be mindful of what we are, like everyone here this evening has expressed. What can we do to make things better? You know, what can we do? Because all of us have the ability to, in some degree, be the change that we want to see. To some degree, we can be the change that we want to see. And there's a lot of different opinions, there's a lot of different perspectives based on what each community needs. But every place is you can get more done when you bring those perspectives together and work together based on what you need as a city. I just wanted to express that. You know, like I said, I'm learning. I probably learned more about Phenix City in the last probably like 10 to 12 years than I've,
Have you been able to see the growth?
I have.
Yeah, good. It's validated. That's my kind of
So there's definitely a lot of more growth than it was when I got here. So I appreciate it. Thank you, and I just want to express that.
Thank you so much. You've been here for a while. Thank you all. Give yourselves a hand. It's come talk to us. It's something you don't like, come talk to us. We're going to fall sometimes. And so when we fall, we're going to build, learn from it, and try not to fall again. So thank you all so much. May God continue to bless us individually as well as that. Thank you.